Hey everyone, and welcome to Best Mind. Today, we're going to learn about 7 proven ways to stop being lazy. Now let's begin. Number 1. Dispelling your assumptions. Are you a naturally lazy person? Well, you'd be surprised how many people claim laziness as one of their core personality traits. They resign themselves to a lethargic lifestyle, assuming it's a fundamental part of who they are. But they're looking at laziness the wrong way. In fact, intrinsic laziness is not nearly as common as people think. Very few people are as lazy as they say they are. Just imagine you're struggling to exercise regularly. Every night you say you're going to go running in the morning. But every morning, you find some reason not to. Does that mean you're a naturally lazy person? No, not at all. There are all kinds of reasons why people have trouble accomplishing their goals, or creating healthy habits. You might have problems with self-control or self-discipline. Your fears and insecurities may be trapping you inside your comfort zone. When you assume you're intrinsically lazy, well, you're not only ignoring the real problem, but you're also avoiding your potential to be productive and efficient. You need to believe in your own ability. You have to have faith that you're capable of improving yourself and your life. But as long as you make harmful assumptions, now your work ethic is going to suffer. Number 2, the 8 categories of laziness. Since you're probably not intrinsically lazy, well, it's time to understand where your laziness comes from. Laziness is often a byproduct of a deeper issue, but it can be tricky to figure out what's really going on. Luckily, psychologists have narrowed down laziness into 8 categories. Each category describes a unique underlying problem. They all create negative and unproductive mindsets, but they stem from vastly different emotional states. As we go through these 8 categories, pay attention to which one sounds the most like you. The more you know about your laziness, the easier it will be to get past it. The first category is caused by fatigue. You're lazy because you don't have the physical or mental energy to be productive. You might say things like, "I'm too tired to work." The problem isn't that you're lazy, it's that you're not taking good enough care of yourself. The second is regret. You get lazy when you feel like an opportunity has passed you by. You might avoid work by saying it's too late to get started. But you're just looking for excuses to stay where you are. Chances are you don't believe in your ability to keep up with everyone else. The third category is internal shame. This can make you incredibly unproductive and ruin your mindset. Most of the time, shame comes from a lack of self-compassion. You get so frustrated with yourself for being lazy, that you end up becoming the thing you were trying to avoid. The next is social fear. You hold yourself back, because you're worried about looking stupid. If you try something and fail, you might be scared it's going to ruin your image. The fifth category is neuroticism or anxiety. When you face new challenges, you're overwhelmed by your fears. You tell yourself you can't do something because you're too scared to try. Number 6 is laziness created by uncertainty. You might hesitate when something is complicated or confusing, but this confusion is a natural part of any challenge. So learn to embrace it. The 7th is apathy. You get lazy because you don't care. This is often a sign of aimlessness or depression. If you feel apathetic toward everything, you're not lazy. You just need to discover something that's important to you. Finally, there's self-definition, which is the issue we talked about in step 1. If you identify as lazy, well, then you become lazy, but you can solidify your ambitions by gradually changing the way you define yourself. Number 3, rediscover your direction. What will happen if you leave things the way they are? This is a crucial albeit uncomfortable question to ask yourself. For people who struggle with laziness, the future may seem a bit unnerving. If you stay the way you are for the next 5 to 10 years, or you might never achieve your lifelong goals. You might never turn into the person that you dreamt of becoming. These hypotheticals will train you to look into the future, to consider how your current priorities will evolve over time. Realizing that you're not on the right path can motivate you to correct bad habits and make lasting changes to lifestyle. Number 4, identifying the value of your work. Even after they improve their mindset, some people still struggle to see the value in their work. You may become unproductive because nothing seems like a worthwhile use of your time. But there's an easy way to work around this kind of laziness. Anytime you set a goal or make a new habit, don't just write down what you're doing. Write down why it's an important addition to your life. When you identify the value of your goals, your work will seem worth doing. So make this simple change to revolutionize your productivity. Number 5, the lazy work exchange. Many people think being productive means working uninterrupted for hours on end. They think you're supposed to get everything done in one sitting. But that's completely unrealistic. Hardly anyone works like that. Even the most productive people have slow periods or downtime throughout the day. So don't hold yourself to this impossible standard. Don't expect yourself to sit down and concentrate for 8 to 12 hours straight. It's rarely if ever going to happen. But that isn't something to be ashamed of. There's nothing wrong with taking breaks. In fact, breaks are an incredibly useful way to stay productive when you're feeling lazy. If you use them correctly, you can essentially use laziness to your advantage. You'll create a routine that lets you be lazy and feel good about it. The key is to exchange downtime for work time. In other words, to get one, you have to do the other. Let's say you really want to watch an episode of your favorite show. That's not an issue, but you need to earn that half hour of laziness by doing an equal amount of work. I recommend keeping at least a 1 to 3 lazy work ratio. So for every 1 minute of downtime, you do 3 minutes of work. That means you need to work for 90 minutes to earn a half hour for your show. The beauty of this step is that your laziness becomes your motivation. When you can't shake the urge to slack off, then let that fuel you. You'll be more productive because you know a fun reward is waiting for you. At the end, you may even find yourself working harder when you know there's a break coming up soon. A lot of people end up overshooting the time they needed to spend working. They get so wrapped up in a project that they end up pushing themselves further. Why? Well, because setting limitations alleviates pressure. It makes your work seem manageable instead of stressful and depressive. Oh, but that's not all. Exchanging work. Time for downtime also makes your downtime more enjoyable. Just think about how you feel when you're avoiding work. Are you guilty, restless, and angry with yourself? You know, you're procrastinating, but you just can't seem to stop. Those negative emotions tend to ruin whatever fun thing you're doing. So if you earn your downtime, then you can actually enjoy being lazy. You can watch your show, browse social media, or do whatever you want without that frustrating guilt looming over your head. So don't worry about working for hours and hours. Divide up your day with short breaks to get the most out of your work time and your downtime. Number 6, measure your transformation. As you slowly begin changing your habits and priorities, don't forget to keep track of your progress. Even the smallest improvements can help you down the road. Looking back on your transformation can be a huge motivator. When you're feeling hopeless and lethargic, those records are there to give you an extra boost of encouragement. They'll push you through the rough patches. They'll help you overcome obstacles and persevere through failure. Many people get discouraged and lazy because they don't feel like their hard work is getting them anywhere. You're investing all this time and energy into improving yourself. Maybe you're hoping to notice changes in your body shape, or feel like you're getting closer to achieving your goals, but you're not seeing any results. It's important to remember that real change happens over time. You can't actually see it unless you compare where you started and where you are right now. That's why you track your progress. Keeping records will show you how much you've accomplished. It's physical evidence that hard work really does pay off. Number 7, the power of kindness. If you slip up during any of these steps, well, don't beat yourself up about it. To continue being productive, you need to maintain a positive attitude about your work and yourself. It's critical that you learn to forgive yourself when you fail. Just because you messed up once or twice, doesn't mean you should throw your goals out the window. You'll fail plenty of times in your life. Hey, everyone does, but don't let those failures destroy your motivation and self-esteem. Be kind to yourself, that way you can continue to growing into the person that you want to be. Hey, thank you for watching Best Mind, and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way.